yesterday as far as not letting this thing kind of spiral. Do you feel like your team did that? It seemed like you had so many opportunities and just weren't able to come up with that one big hit.
Yeah, I think later on we had opportunities. I think obviously the seventh inning, eighth inning, obviously we loaded the bases, but I was more disappointed in the first 5 or 6 innings. We didn't do anything. I mean, we were chasing, we were expanding, we did everything that we don't want to do. Early in counts we're swinging at curveballs in the dirt. Easy outs. No pressure on first pitch if we are swinging. So that was where I was kind of most disappointed. I mean, listen, seventh, eighth inning, you're not always going to get the big hit, but if that's what you're relying on, we had a chance to win the game well before that. They had their starter go out in the first inning, and we had their bullpen for the whole game. That's on us. Like, we got to do a better job, first, second, third, fourth, fifth inning, especially against their bullpen, knowing that they're thin. Their starter didn't even make it out of the first, so that's where I was most disappointed. But listen, we put some pressure on them towards the end and, battled, but unfortunately couldn't get the big hit. I thought Folty pitched a great game. He pitched as well as we've seen him. Gave us a chance, and basically through the whole game he gave up one hit, and it was a homer. You shouldn't lose a game like that. If you're a starting pitcher, he did everything to give us a chance to win.
Offensively, why do you think that was the case today? Because it's been the other way around, where you guys have hit early and have struggled to hit late.
Listen, I've said this to you guys many times. Our biggest challenge is to be able to be consistent with that every day. And it's a day game after a night game. There's a lot of things in play here that, we have guys that haven't, played at this level for a whole year, let alone 162 games. We got to be consistent. And it's like we can't have, maybe lapses or days like that if we want to be, a contending team and a team that can be consistently winning games. Because we had plenty of opportunities today to win a game. And I know late we had opportunities, but like I said, early before that, we had many opportunities to put something together, to get a couple runs across the board, kind of like we have been doing, but obviously didn't do it today.
Thanks, buddy.
Jeff Wilson.
The consistency thing, is that just comes with experience?
Yeah, I mean it's something obviously we talk about a lot, and obviously we're going to have that conversation, many times on, what kind of got in the way today? Why, going to a different pitcher, bringing Stammen in, he kind of had our number. We were chasing his curveball and pounding his sinker in the ground. Those are things we got to be ready for those, and be able to adjust on the fly. I know we had a good plan against Morejon. Clearly he wasn't in there after he had to come out of the game with an injury, so we got to do a better job. I mean, that's the bottom line is, we've had a lot of success early on and like where our hitters, mindsets are at, but today is one of those games where we got to look back and say we should have won this game.
You got to be really happy with Folty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he came out and basically set the tone from pitch one. He just, came out attacking these guys, and like I said, he gave up 2 hits, 7 innings, was in command the whole game. Ran a little bit of trouble there at the end, but, really good to see him finish through that, get the last guy out, through 90-something pitches. It was a good outing, really good outing for him.
Yeah, so when you go out there in the 7th, just getting a feel for him, or what was that?
Yeah, I mean, Doug and I were talking, and honestly, that was the one time I've done that before with, certain other guys, but I was actually probably going to take him out. I wanted to kind of look in his eyes and say, I didn't, the baseball, guy in me didn't want to take him out, but I thought it maybe had been the right move. But I mean, when I was walking out there, I looked at him and, he said, "No, I got this guy." I told him, I said, "Hey, give it everything you got right here. Let's end this day on a good note and go right after this guy." And he did, and he got him out.
Thank you.
Kennedy.
I know there were some times when Folty was in Atlanta that, if he gave up an early run, things kind of spiral from there and walks X, Y, Z. What do you think's different now than, Folty 2018-19 when that was happening?
I think he's learned a lot. I think he's learned a lot through the years, how to deal with adversity, how to, like I said, not let things kind of snowball and spiral out of control. He's an emotional guy, and he pitches with a lot of emotion. He's learned to control that. And I think that, new start, fresh start here, he feels really good about where his stuff is, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I think, last year, obviously, his stuff didn't feel great. His arm didn't feel great. His body didn't feel as, synced up And this year he feels really good, but he's really dialed it in on the mental side, like really trying to make sure he's in control out there, and like I said, taking deep breaths and in between pitches, making sure he's he can still go out and execute even when things aren't going well. Obviously today things went really well, but at the end he had to kind of dig deep, and get that last guy out. Especially got 3-2 right there, knowing it was his last hitter. Ends up making a pitch and getting him out. But he's worked really hard on pretty much all parts of his game, and that was obviously a big one today for him.
Chris.
Hey, Woody, I just wanted to ask about Tejeda. I mean, you mentioned that he has that fear, but 3 strikeouts. Does he look overmatched to you, or just what do you see right now? I know he's young, but what do you say right now?
Yeah, I don't know if overmatched is the right word. I don't know what the right word is, but I know that he's an aggressive guy. I know we've talked about having game plans and understanding what these guys are throwing, and maybe part of it's he hasn't seen guys that can execute the way guys are executing against him. He's seeing cutters and sinkers and high fastballs and things that, they're tempting pitches to swing at and try to hit, curveballs that don't quite get there and then end up in the, just behind the plate. So, guys are making pitches on him, but he's got to be able to counter that. He's got to be able to learn from that and say, okay, what could I have done differently in that situation? Clearly tonight in the, 7th inning was the biggest at bat of the game. Knowing that Adams throws a ton of sliders, he went up and took the first one to see it. That's a situation where, if you've done your homework, maybe if you've looked at video and you've seen it, what the kind of shape of the pitch is, and where you want to see it. He got one good swing off, fouled it off, and sometimes that's all it is. It's like that you get that one chance at it to get the job done. And then obviously with 2 strikes, he's got to find a way to put the ball in play. He's got a ton of swing and miss, so he's got to be able to put the ball in play. He's got speed. He does have bat to ball, but those are the situations he's got to learn. That's a big part of his game, especially as a switch hitter. He's not going to get overmatched by right on right or left on left. He's got an advantage there, to be able to put the ball in play. So that's something he has to work on.
Okay, let's go to Sam.
I'm curious, was Ian Kennedy? It looked like his velocity might have been a little down. Did you see that at all, or just kind of?
Yeah, it was a little bit. I was asking Doug the same question after a couple. He said he was fine though. I know Cigar said he was fine down in the bullpen. As far as we know, nothing is wrong.
On the Eli White steal, what did you kind of? Obviously they went to replay on that. From my perspective, I thought he was safe, but I don't know. What did you think on that?
It was close. Yeah, it was. It could have went either way. I think if they call him safe right there, they don't even challenge it. That's unfortunate. But I love that Eli, obviously, I kind of wanted him to run earlier in the game when he was a second. And in that situation, we're trying to obviously put some pressure on him. And if he's safe right there, I don't know what happens the next pitch. Obviously, Solak got a hit, but things are totally different with a guy on second and 1 out instead of nobody on 2 outs. So, it's something that obviously we take a lot of pride in applying the pressure. And, I got to give credit to the Caratini, made a pretty good throw on a tough pitch.
Just big picture, obviously you guys have a good team coming up next. Just played a good team. Do you say anything? Do you have like a bigger conversation with the guys like after a game like this, before the next one? Just
yeah.
Where things are.
I didn't hold like a team meeting or anything, but definitely going to have some ball talk. So we, we're going to talk as probably in groups and obviously in the hitters group, pitching and listen. The games are going to keep coming at us, and that's the beautiful thing about the MLB season. You can't feel sorry for yourself, and the beautiful thing is we got a game tomorrow. We get on a plane and get to Tampa, and let's play. Let's strap it on. So those are things that you got to love and you got to embrace, even in the tough times. We lost 3 in a row. We felt like we were playing well coming in, and we lost 3 tough games. We got to move on. We got to keep playing. We got to keep grinding. There's no time to feel sorry for yourself. But yes, we definitely have conversations. That's the beautiful thing about this group is we have a lot of what we call ball talk, and we just constantly talk about the game and what we're doing, how we're doing, and how do we improve.
Jeff Sanders.
Hey Chris, Folty going right after hitters. How much of that game plan was a byproduct of the first couple games in this series?
Yeah, it was. I thought we pitched pretty well against these guys, honestly, in the 3 games, and a lot of our success had to do with going right after them. They're a good hitting team. Clearly, they got a lot of guys that can punish you, but if you attack them, you put them on their heels a little bit, and they don't swing a lot. They're pretty picky at what they swing at. We had I don't know how many called third strikes, strikeouts looking, but they're a patient team. and we know that. So the way to counter that is to not be scared of them, to go right at them. If they beat you, they beat you. And I thought that we did a pretty good job of that this series.
You caught them when they were getting hot last year. You know what they're chasing in the NL West, or very familiar with that. What's your impression of this team?
It's a good team, man. I enjoy watching these guys play. They play with a little edge, a little chip on the shoulder. We saw them last year. Obviously, they got hot right after that and steamrolled the rest of the league basically after our series. So they got good leadership over there. I love some of those guys over there, and they're like I said, they play with a ton of energy. When Tatis gets back, they're gonna be a threat, man. I know that the Dodgers are well aware of that, but it should be a good battle.
Thank you.
Okay, last one, Alex.
Woody, is Ron Guzman, are you seeing him pressing at the plate?
I don't know, Preston. It's a tough spot, obviously, to put him in today. It's a good, decent matchup for him, though. Maybe a little bit. I think we have a few guys on our team I think that are pressing, and that's part of being a youthful, maybe inexperienced team. They're all trying to prove something, and when things aren't going well, you kind of feel that pressure to, I want to stay here, I want to continue to get, play, and that's part of the process. You have to go through that. You have to kind of go through that, and we're going to wrap our arms around them while giving them a little tough love at times and teaching them and holding them critical to what we value and making sure they understand what's expected. But these are the moments where us as a staff, our leadership comes in, our players' leadership comes in, and we guide them through it, but not softly. There's no soft landing in the major leagues. You're gonna, if you feel sorry for yourself, you're gonna get your butt kicked. So our guys gotta, get tough. It's a good time for us to get tough right now.